The document is 47 pages long. Your great-grandson signs it on a Tuesday afternoon in March 1987. He is 34 years old. He reads the first 3 pages. He trusts the attorneys. He trusts his cousins. He trusts that the men his grandfather hired are still the men his grandfather hired. None of this is true anymore. The signature dissolves the holding company his grandfather built in 1919. The assets are distributed across 23 trusts, serving 41 beneficiaries across 3 generations. The unified capital that produced 6.1% annualized returns for 68 years no longer exists after 3:47 p.m. that afternoon. It is now 23 smaller pools managed by 14 different firms, answering to no one. He does not know this is the mistake. He will not know for another 9 years. By then, the 3 most aggressive branches will have taken their distributions and left. The remaining trusts will be worth less than half. The architecture is gone, but the name is still there. That is how it begins to end. Your great-great-grandfather is 29 years old. He has $4,200 and a refinery in Cleveland. By 34, he controls 14 refineries. By 41, he controls 90% of the market. He does not raise his voice. He does not sign contracts without reading every clause. He keeps ledgers in his own hand until he is 58. He remembers the exact price of crude on September 3rd, 1872, because that was the day he understood the business would not be about oil. It would be about transportation, storage, and the terms on which other men were allowed to compete. He makes his first million at 39, his first $100 million at 52. At 68, he is the richest man in the country by a margin that will not be matched for another 80 years. He builds the family office in 1894. He calls it the office. He hires 3 men. One of them is still there when his grandson takes over in 1943. The wealth is $900 million when he dies in 1937. Adjusted, it is the largest private fortune in American history. His last recorded words are about a stock price. He was correct. Your great-grandfather inherits at 51. He has been preparing for 30 years. He does not build, he structures. The fortune is placed in a holding company. The holding company is owned by a trust. The trust is governed by a council of 7. 4 are family. 3 are not. This is deliberate. He creates the foundation in 1941 with $180 million. By 1963, it has given away $440 million to universities, hospitals, and a museum that will bear the family name for the next 80 years. The philanthropy is real. It is also strategic. A family that gives publicly is harder to hate privately. He hires professionals. He pays them well. He never attends a board meeting of a company the family owns. He sits on the council. The council decides who decides. Under him, the portfolio grows to $1.6 billion. Adjusted, the family is still in the top 30 in America. He dies in 1971 at 85. He leaves behind a 140-page governance document. His children read it once. His grandchildren do not read it at all. Your grandfather is one of 4 siblings. They inherit equally. The council becomes a committee. The committee becomes a quarterly meeting. The meeting becomes a lunch. He is not a bad steward. He is a diligent one. He reads the reports. He asks competent questions. He approves the recommendations the professionals bring him. The portfolio grows at 5.8% annualized for 23 years. This is a failure relative to the S&P 500 over the same period. No one mentions this at the lunch. The family becomes a brand. The name appears on a wing of a museum, a chair at a university, a wildlife refuge in Wyoming. These are real gifts. They are also calcification. The family is no longer building anything. It is being remembered. He divorces at 58. The settlement removes $140 million from the consolidated portfolio. This is the first real amputation. The council approves it without discussion. The council has become incapable of discussion. The architecture is still there. The muscle underneath it is gone. There are 17 of you now. Cousins you see at Christmas, cousins you have never met. 3 of you work. 11 of you do not. You are 34 years old, and you have just signed the document. The distributions begin. A beach house is sold to settle a dispute. A painting is sold to pay estate taxes. A company your great-great-grandfather founded is sold to a private equity firm who will dismember it within 4 years. Each sale is rational. The pattern is not visible from inside any single sale. Your cousin Charles sues the trust in 1993. He loses. The legal fees are $4.2 million. Your cousin Eleanor sues the trust in 1996. She wins. The fees are $11 million. Neither of them speak to each other again. The council is dissolved in 1998. There is no successor body. The trusts are now independent. Each branch manages its own affairs. You speak to 3 of your cousins. You do not know the others by sight. The name appears in the social register. It no longer appears on Forbes. No one in the family notices when the listing is quietly removed. You are the great-great-great-granddaughter. Your trust distributes $340,000 a year. This is a fortune by any reasonable measure. It is nothing by the measure of what was. You live in Brooklyn. You work at a nonprofit. Your colleagues do not know your last name means anything. You do not correct them. When strangers ask, you say your family was in business a long time ago. This is technically true. The 2008 crisis takes 31% of your trust principal. The trustee was overexposed to a single fund. The trustee is replaced. The principal does not return. You have a second cousin who is in rehab in Arizona. You have a third cousin who sits on 3 museum boards and introduces himself as the great-great-grandson of the founder at fundraisers. You have 11 cousins you could not name if you were shown their photographs. There is no family office anymore. There is a law firm in Delaware that administers the remaining trusts. They send a statement every quarter. You stopped opening them in 2014. Your son is 19. He has the last name. He does not have the trust. It terminated at your generation per the original 1919 terms your ancestor wrote to prevent exactly the kind of family he has become. He applies to college. The admissions officer recognizes the name. He is asked if he is related. He says he thinks so, but he is not sure how. This is true. He has not read the 140-page governance document. It exists in a box in a storage unit in New Jersey, whose rent is paid by automatic withdrawal from an account no one remembers opening. The name appears on the museum wing. The wildlife refuge in Wyoming still operates. The chair at the university is still endowed. These will outlast him. They will outlast his children. They are the only things left that still function. He graduates. He gets a job in marketing. He is good at it. He makes $78,000 a year. He tells people his family used to have money. He is not wrong. Somewhere in a rented office in Connecticut, a man is paid $140,000 to write a book about your family. He has never met any of you. He works from archives. He reads the 140-page governance document. He reads the ledgers your great-great-grandfather kept by hand. He reads the divorce filings, the lawsuits, the minutes of the council meetings from before the council dissolved. He understands the architecture better than any living member of the family. This is not unusual. Biographers often do. The book is published in 2026. It sells modestly. It is reviewed in one national publication. The review is respectful. The reviewer notes that the family story follows a familiar pattern. She does not name the pattern. She does not need to. Somewhere, a 19-year-old reads the review on his phone. He recognizes his last name. He thinks about buying the book. He does not. He has work in the morning. The machine does not stop. It just forgets whose name it was built under.